Hi, everybody. I'm Samantha, and this is the Dream Chasers podcast, and I am here with... Give me the official pronunciation of your last name. Because
No, I don't like to use my last name.
You don't like to
Just
use
call
it?
me April Marie.
April Marie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too many freaking letters. The Polish, they didn't know what was going on.
Because you have the same name as my sister.
Okay.
So I was just curious.
It's Golubieski.
You say Golubieski.
Golubieski.
So the way they pronounce it is they just lose the L completely and they just say Gobieski.
Yeah, Golubieski, Gulubieski, Gobblebieski. Like I've heard it all.
It's a lot of name. That's why I was curious. Because I remember you used to have it as your Facebook name, and then you got rid of that.
Yeah, no one has to be put through that. That's why, I think that's like the only reason I want to marry Matt is so I could be Zillick. That's so much easier. April Zillick.
Right. And the name things are important. So thank you for being my first guest in this.
I would not wake up on my day off and try to beat Fort Pitt traffic for many people, but you're one of the few.
Thank you. When I was thinking about this, and this, the idea of it sort of came out of the Facebook Lives that I was doing for the store, because you want to see how your mind works? Talk to yourself for an hour a day. There might be people out there, but like frequently I would do the lives for the soaps, and there might be one person and they're just watching and they're not interacting at all. And so as we're talking, it started popping through like this idea of the chasing of dreams, and chasing dreams looks different for everybody. Yeah. And you legit were the first person who came to my head, because when you did your book, and I know you don't want to plug the book today, but when you...
Well, I can always plug the book. I'm always looking for just a couple bucks.
I know. Well, I noticed the earrings. When you did the book, I was like, first off, to have been so vulnerable about the subject matter, first off, but also just like it's enough to have this idea and to do this thing and want to do this, but then to be like, okay, cool, I'm throwing it out there to the universe. That's scary, and a lot of folks chicken out. I mean, sometimes the perception of what the rest of the world might think is enough to stop people from doing something. And so as I was watching you sort of go through that whole process of, okay, I'm going to write a book. Okay, it's going. And then the day they came and you got them in the mail and you was it a lot? You recorded yourself?
I did. I wanted to get like that initial reaction.
Yeah.
And I felt that I owed it to everyone that has been like following me and like championing me. And I was like, I need to give them like because I'm not a very vulnerable person. Like I don't show a lot of emotion.
Right.
So I thought that was something really special that I could give to my friends.
It was one of the most like incredibly raw and beautiful moments I've ever seen. So when I started talking about this, I'm like, I gotta get April in here. So anyway, I'm in the shower this morning where all my good ideas come, and I remembered this poem. So the poem is Harlem by Langston Hughes. It's what happens to a dream deferred. Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? So, dream chasing. What is that? Like if you hear that term, like either dream catching or dream chasing or just dreams, what does that bring to your mind?
Well, for me personally, I have to go into my Capricorn type A, queen of everything mindset, and I don't think of it as just dreams. I think of it as goals.
Right.
If you set goals, they're easier to achieve, and then you kind of like while you're going along the way, you get to your dreams and you get to accomplish them.
Right. Are you a because I'm a huge goal setter. Yeah. Like I'm definitely one of those dorks that like at the beginning of the year like writes everything out, and which ironically with everything that went down the last week, I didn't this year. I had one for the company. I had one goal this year, and that was to build up the website. That was my goal. I didn't do like I normally do. I didn't like set sales goals. And I don't do sales goals in terms of money because I suck at that because I don't care. I don't care about money. I just don't care. I should, but I don't. But I just like build up the website. That was like focus on the website. That was my goal for the year.
Yeah.
So I thought so.
Yeah. You got a lot of shit.
So much shit. There's so much shit.
That is no easy task.
No, right. And so the fact that now August, that's all I got now, is interesting because I didn't sit down and like goalify everything else. I just website, not thinking. I mean, because at the beginning of the year I had 2 locations, and now I ain't got any. And that happened fast. Because like we had the 2, the one building was making me sick. So I had to bolt out of that building.
That was a beautiful building though.
It was a beautiful building,
yeah.
But it was legitimately like, it was causing like, I mean, I get vertigo, but it was causing, and like when I get vertigo, I get it like once every 6 months or whatever, but I was having it almost daily.
No.
So there was something in that building that was setting it off.
Yeah.
I think it was mold. Honestly, I think it was mold. Probably. It's Pittsburgh. It's probably mold. So, but then I started having like these stress-related health thingies this week. And so I went to my landlords at the Strip District and I'm like, guys, I can't die over soap. And they're like, cool, we can totally let you out. But you got to be out by Monday. I'm like, this was last Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it was like,
it did happen fast.
It was very fast. And I wasn't allowed to really say why. I was just like, hey, we're having a 50% off sale. Everybody come get as much soap as you can while you can. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I haven't really even talked about to them, like, why. But that's what it was. So they were amazing, and I appreciate them. And like not needing to die over soap is, is like, important.
Good for you. If you haven't heard it or not, like good for you for being able to do that, because a lot of times we feel like we're going to fail. We built up this dream, we built up this idea, and if we go and like let it go, it's I'm a failure. Like but you have to know when to.
I there was a lot of I'm a failure stuff happening, but so
failure would have been if you didn't do it at all.
If you didn't do it at all. But here's what's funny. And so as I've been thinking about this whole dream chasing thing, right? And I've been an actor for 44 years. 44 years. Do the math. So that's always been the dream. Right? So like the soap, while I loved it, it's not my dream. Like opening a retail store was not my dream. But I got so wrapped up in it. And I got so like, then the pandemic happened and I completely lost my mind. But like I got so wrapped up in this sort of mindset of, well, shit, I'm good at this. This should be the thing I do. But that realization that this isn't, everyone's like, oh, this must be a dream come true. And I'm like, no. So the more people were sort of pushing that idea on me that this was my dream, I'm like, no. We opened this store for Bruce. Bruce likes doing retail. Bruce in a farmer's market is like, he is better at that than anything I am ever at anything I've ever done in my entire life. I suck at sales. I hate them. I hate sales. I'm like, how the hell did I end up in sales? I like marketing. Marketing's different. It's a different thing from sales marketing. And I like the making. But like all the admin stuff. So like, I think for like, if we move to just online, that's fine. Cause that allows me to do the 2 things I'm really good at, which is the marketing and the making.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still some admin-y stuff, but like, it's not like I don't have to as much do all of the navigating of leases and dealing with this tax and this person and that person. I don't want to go to a fucking networking event. I hate those things. Like just going to a thing to just like pass around cards and pat each other on the back. Like that's
always being a salesman. Nothing is more annoying than being the salesman. But you have to, when you have a business, you have to sell it. You have to get money. You got to pay for all the stuff you put into.
Right.
But it sucks. I hate asking people to buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Like use your hard-earned money. We're all struggling.
Right.
Everyone's struggling. Use your hard-earned money to support me, support my soaps. Like it's awful. Like don't like to do it.
It's awful. Yeah. So I would much rather be like, here's a service that I never thought of it as sales. Like mentally, I always thought of it as a service. It's like, you have an issue. I can help you with your issue. That's how I always thought of it. I never thought of it as I push product, which is why I gave so much of it away.
I was say, when you said you were a horrible salesman, I was kind of like, yeah, because like you had so many great, but I mean, like there were great sales. You know, there was actor discount. The discount, you gave so much to the women's shelter, which was just amazing. But I'm like, always giving your stuff away, and I'm like, girl, how are you paying for all of this? You give away everything.
I wasn't. That's what it is.
Anytime I'd go on and like comment and be like, go and stop at Pip and Lola's, you'd be like, here's a $30 gift card for this. I'm like, girl, you don't have to. We're good.
They last so long. So yeah, so that just in the thinking of that whole like chasing dreams thing, I was like, this isn't it. This ain't it. So the future of this store, well, the stores are gone, but the future of Pip and Lola's is still kind of in flux.
I'm glad it's still online because I need my fight scrub and I need my my Greta. Is it Greta? Yeah. So good.
Oh yeah, the Gertrude.
Gertrude. Oh.
Gertrude's my favorite of the Shakespeare's. She's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's not going away. She's not even one of the best sellers, but I like it so much, so y'all can suck it right now because we're staying.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, so like right now it's sort of like it's up in the air. If I can make it happen, because again, it's that Capricorn energy, right? Like we start doing things, and next thing you know, we're doing 70-hour weeks, and we're exhausted, and we're not getting to do the things we love because we're doing all the things we have to do. Capricorn energy. Seas unite. If I can stick to having it be like almost like a part-time gig, like if I can make the soaps my side hustle, and then the pursuing of the acting be the full-time thing, then it can stay.
Yeah.
But if it starts to look like I can't do that, then it's going to have to go. But also like full disclosure, I've been having like some really like heavy duty blood pressure issues of late. Oh. And do you know what a TIA is?
Mm-mm.
Oh gosh, I can't. It's a basically it's transischemic. I can't remember the word. So basically, it's kind of like a stroke. It's like a little teeny tiny mini stroke. Oh my goodness. But it doesn't kill your brain like a stroke. Because I've had a stroke. It's like a legit stroke kills part of your brain. Mm. But TIAs don't. They just like to pretend. It's like they're not a real doctor, so they just play one on TV. So it's like it's not a real stroke. It just plays one when you're stressed out. So I've been having those again.
Oh, jeez.
I've been having those again. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not dying over soap. So if we can get my brain to calm the fuck down, then it could potentially stay. But if it starts to look like this is going to become so problematic because of stress, then it's.
I mean, thinking about, I would hope that it'll be good now. Just focus on the online, and the website is done.
The website's been.
You used to worry about sending, packaging stuff up, and that let the kids do that. Print
like I can get my kids to do something.
Stick a stamp on it.
I still have a full-time employee, and so we're just transitioning her. Like we're teaching her how to do the shipping. We're going to teach her how to
Jean?
Susan.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to do the hi Jean.
We're keeping Soapy staying around. I like the idea of him sort of. Soapy is an asshole puppet that we have.
So cute.
He's so funny, but he's an asshole puppet. Did you see the last one? The silent. Where it's just the music.
Oh yeah, you were like holding hands.
Listen, but I like the idea of this puppet as almost like an outsider, sort of documenting what could be potentially the end of it. Mm-hmm. I like that idea, And we had lines scripted for him for that last video, but I was like, because he basically, like, we created this sort of persona that all he does is judge me, like everything I do. No. It's just like, well, you're stupid. Why are you doing this?
The inner saboteur, but in puppet form.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, so I'm very curious to see how that sort of all plays out. We've got like 5 or 6 of them already filmed and ready to go. If I'm willing to lay on a bathroom floor with this thing, I might as well like see it through. So that's sort of as that dream that wasn't my dream dissolves. At the same time, I am working towards and developing sort of a game plan of what to do once the SAG-AFTRA strike is over.
Oh,
and in a way, it's like
whenever that happens.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in what you focus on expands, right? I'm a big believer in that. From my real estate training, like what you focus on expands. And so there was a video that I found the other day where it's a song, and she starts talking about pronoia. So like there's paranoia, where you think everyone's kind of out to get you, but pronoia is sort of the opposite of that, where the idea is that everything is set up for you, in your favor, to make things better for you. And so I was like, that's interesting. So I kind of like that notion, because I do believe that what you focus on expands. And if all you're worried about is the bad stuff, then all you're going to see is the bad stuff.
Absolutely.
So I also believe, and whether people think it's God or fate or the muses or whatever, I also believe that if you are doing your plan in the universe, like whatever the universe has planned for you, it's just going to be easier. Mm-hmm. And the soaps were just hard constantly. It was just hard all the time. I'm like, I'm doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing. Why is this so hard? But getting out of it has been a lot easier.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe that is the world setting it up for me to go do the thing I'm supposed to be doing, because I don't know. We'll see. And the timing of the SAG-AFTRA strike is interesting, because that gives me that time to get out of the things I shouldn't be doing, set myself up, get all my package together, get all my marketing materials together, get my home self-tape set up a little bit better. Like, I've been working on it for years, but like getting that all set up. And so then when the strike's over, I can be like, go.
Yeah. That's a good plan.
Yeah, that's sort of the plan. So I'm talking about goals, back to what we were saying. So when you okay, so here's my goal. Here's what I want to do. Are you okay, here's the big goal, and then you break it down into little goals, or are you here's a big goal, and every decision you make goes towards that big goal? Which you got to make the little goals, because those are more achievable. Right. You have to make it. I'm like you were starting to say, I'm a firm believer in, what you think about, you attract. What you put out into the world, you attract. Gratitude, good feelings, all those. If you got nasty thoughts all the time, if you're constantly in a state of like jealousy and rage and the world hates me, then that's what you're going to attract. So you put out the good, and then you set little goals that are achievable. Right. And you move up the ladder. Here's a goal, and the big one's up at top. There's a thing. Oh, it's smart is the so it's like something that's small, measurable, achievable, or something time sensitive. What's the R? Ooh. But it's in terms of like goals, like it's easier to go, I want to be rich one day, but like, okay, rich means different things to different people. Dreams mean different things to different people. So like, if your goal is, I don't want to necessarily go there, but say your goal is to lose 10 pounds. Okay, well, you can't lose 10 pounds tomorrow, but you could lose 1 or half or a quarter. And like every little step you take towards those things.
Absolutely.
But you have to give yourself, you have to give yourself grace. One, because we all have days where we don't want a salad, we want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That happens. And now they have those Uncrustable things, and straight out of the freezer. Have you ever had them straight out of the freezer?
Matt loves those. And he said to me that one day, he was like, I'm eating an Uncrustable. I was like, who the hell over the age of 20 eats Uncrustables? I was like, no one does that. He's like, they're really good.
They have ones that are the wheat bread with peanut butter and honey. Those are rocking. But for somebody who's busy, grab it.
Easy.
Yeah, and the texture of the still kind of frozen ones. Yeah. So yeah, I am that person. I just bought 2 big boxes yesterday. That's me. That would be me. I bought them for the children, and then I get really mad when the children eat them. So I'm like, no, that was for me. That's for me.
That's a good excuse to be able to buy them. Oh yeah, they were for the kids. not for, but I mean, if they're in the house,
they're there. It would be a waste to not eat them.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at time because this is the first one. So I'm like, how does this work with time? Oh gosh, we can talk forever. So if someone were to come to you and it's like, April, I have been watching all the things you've been doing, and I don't have a similar goal, but like I have a goal. Like, how would you help me start? Like, where should I start if I have a goal? Like,
yeah, little small achievable wins is where you start. I don't want to get too much into jiu-jitsu because people are going to be like, what the hell is jiu-jitsu?
No, do it. Get in there.
I'm a fitness girl. I'm always trying, latest craze, something. I'm always, keeping active. And so, years ago I started with boxing. Just need to hit something because I don't want to go to therapy. Scares me. So if I can use something else as therapy, I'm going to do it. So like boxing was like, okay, I can hit something. I get out that rage, get out the stress, and it was good. And I did boxing for like 7 years, and it got to the point where there's nothing to achieve in boxing. You don't get gold stars. You don't get, any kind of like level up unless you take a fight. Yeah. And I realized that I'm way too pretty to get punched in the face. And also, I'm naturally, at a disadvantage in the world because I'm blonde. So I can't get punched in the head too many times because I need those last brain cells. So You've
only got the 6. So you need them. Hold on to them for dear life.
So I got to a point where I'm like, even though I love boxing, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm just kind of out there, just kind of do it. I'm coming to the class. I'm doing the same moves. I'm working the same freaking things. Like, there's nothing else I could do. And also, at a point, you need to come to terms with yourself. I am not made for boxing. I am, like a curvy girl. I'm like on the shorter side. I don't have the arm, reach. When I go against some of the guys got like 10 foot reaches. And I'm like little, little kitty cat.
It's like that. Or that is like that actor thing. Your arms are too short to box with God. You're doing this.
So like I would automatically, have to like deflect everything. And I'm like, I'm not going to get a punch in. I'm not long enough. I can't. I'm not. I'm bigger. I can't move as fast. So then, but my buddies were like, "You gotta do jiu-jitsu," and I'm like, I don't want to be rolling around on the ground wrestling with a guy, unless it's in the bedroom. And he's like, just freaking do it. So then I, started doing jiu-jitsu, and like I really loved it. You really, as like a woman, we're always at the disadvantage. Men are king. Men are stronger. Men are smarter. Men are this. Men are that. In jiu-jitsu, the playing field is level. Nice. And like a woman, I know some of the deadliest women in Pittsburgh, and they could take a guy and just like have him crying like a baby. And that is such a great feeling of strength and power that we have. And I like the jiu-jitsu system. There's a belt system. Okay. There's 5 belts. White belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. And then on each belt, you get stripes. You have to work. So you get 4 stripes on a belt. You get 4 stripes on your belt, you move up to a belt. Those are nice, easy, achievable goals.
Yeah.
And so, okay. So I, first day, strapped on my white belt. Didn't know what I was doing. I was screaming on the floor the whole time. And then things got easier and things got better. April, You got to calm down. You got to stop making orgasm sounds on the mat. I'm sorry. And then you go and you get your first stripe and you're like, wow, like, not many people are doing what I'm doing or putting themselves at risk, getting choked out or, having to tap to arm bars and stuff. You get your first stripe. And then you go and you get a little bit better, and then you get your, your second stripe, and you're still getting tossed around, but then you're starting to get like a little bit more power, and then like the new ones that come in, you kill the new ones, and you level up, and then you get your blue belt, and you're okay, I made it through the white belt phase that it took me about a year of just getting mopped on the ground. Blue belt, I'm officially a badass. And then you get to the blue belt, and then those people that were being easy on you, they ain't being easy on you anymore. So then you're like, okay, well, I got to keep going. And blue belt was actually the really, really tough belt, because it humbles you. It humbles you. You think that you are, stronger than you are,
right?
And you get humbled quick, and then you learn that, and then you got to watch yourself too, because then you start chasing these. When am I going to get my belt? When am I going to get my next stripe? I'm putting in the work. When am I going to get it? When is coach going to look at me? When is that? And you gotta take a moment, and you gotta step back and start, also enjoy what you're doing. I'm not just working for stripes. I'm working to become a better jiu-jitsu, better at self-defense, better at, these things, getting in shape.
Right.
And when you stop kind of like worrying about it and just worry on like, practicing the moves and doing it and falling in love with this sport, then that's when, boom, I get the purple belt.
Yeah.
Now I'm a badass. Because you got these guys that are, these spazzy, white belt dudes and blue belt dudes, and you can lay them out. The big freaking guys, big 350-pound guys. Because I roll with everyone. I don't, and slap bump, start the match. They'll try to sit on you. Get out of it. I'm really flexible. Get out of it. Go and, armbar the sucker. Oh, man. That humbles you quick to get, submitted by a chick, man. I love it.
So are you a purple now?
I am purple, yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been purple for a year, and I'm in a very weird state right now because I got injured a couple months ago at a jiu-jitsu tournament. And this is where the universe likes to throw funny little dodgeballs your way. Yeah. Because I went and, I was purple belt, and then I felt that I needed to prove myself to my coach. All right, I'm ready for my stripes. I'm ready for my brown belt. I got it. I'm teaching all the girls I'm getting all the girls better. I'm defeating these guys. Yeah, I could do a tournament. I'll go and I'll beat a bitch up. So then, you go and you prepare and you pair and, you get there that day, and like the first match, I went and I won. I killed the girl. Second match, she sat on me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this isn't cool, but, girl power. And the third one, she had me in a position, and I'm like, girl. And I go, and I've done this move a million times where, like, I just go, and she kind of had my back, and I was, like, moving around, and she had my leg trapped. And I was going this way, and her legs were going this way, and it just pop, 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 pop. And my knee just destroyed. And I'm just laying on the mat, just like, are you kidding me? And all the guys in my corner are like, oh, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And so now, I had my surgery 2 months ago, so I've been off the mats for five months, which for the last 10 years I've had some kind of activity. I don't take vacations, so like, I'm like aching at the bit. Like, I need to get back. And it made me realize I was doing that tournament for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it to show my coach that I'm good. I put in the work. I deserve, my next promotion. I'm someone to be reckoned with. And I already was those things.
I was about to say, you were definitely someone to be reckoned with.
I already was that. Like, I realized that my goal now is not to just level up, which, I will, but I'm not going to focus so much on, getting that next stripe, getting that next belt. What I've realized is how much I miss my girls and the community of jiu-jitsu women. These aren't women that, to want to do something like jiu-jitsu, something had to have happened to you in your life.
Right.
We don't want to be a victim. And, most of it's self-defense. Some of it getting into shape and everything. But, like, there's something in you that, like, you want to be able to handle yourself walking down the street. Yep. And that was something that I provided for my girls. They do the moves, and you got to change it up a little bit. And now I'm not on the mats. I can't I can't do that for them. And so they're like, they're missing out on like the knowledge I could provide them. So that is my new goal. My new goal was to get better, get back on the mat so I can make my girls better.
Yeah.
And in the process, I'll eventually level up, but that's not my main goal now. My main goal is to help other women.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's a funny thing. And goals can change, and
goals change constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting that's where you went, because like one of the issues that I was having with the closing of the stores, like me, burn the thing down to the ground tomorrow. But I also happen to know, because it's almost like the universe knows whenever I'm just having a down day, because I will always get a message or a card or an email or whatever from somebody who's like, because of you, I was able to keep going. And so like those are the people I don't want to let down.
Yeah.
Because it is unusual for women, unfortunately. And maybe the Barbie movie will change that, but it is. I mean, it's unusual for women to say, "Fuck it, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing," And it's hard, And so it for me, it's hard, especially for. And I realize this isn't your situation, but especially for moms, I feel like we have such societal pressure to wrap our lives around our children. And, well, it's not about you anymore. It's about them. And forgetting that you were a fully realized human being before you spawned these children, So especially for moms to come to me and go, because of you, I felt I could. Like that's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's a similar thing to what you're doing. I love that. I mean, so is like going into coaching something you can do to do that, or would you rather just lead by example?
I don't want to be a coach, because I know some bad coaches.
Yeah.
Not my coaches, but like I went to like an old gym, and it's a weird. You don't want to use the word cult when it comes to jiu-jitsu, but it kind of is like a cult.
I think all things are kind of like a cult
in one way or another. And but when you're in this kind of thing, there's the athletes that are they've the big level black belt athletes, and not all of them are good people. Yeah. And just I don't know. It's it's not for me. We have great coaches at my gym, like Jake and Mike they're so fantastic, and they really care, and we're the only gym that has like a really big women's presence around here. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. Yeah. And so I mean, coaching isn't my thing, I think especially because I'm just not at that level yet.
Right.
Like, you want to, if it's between a black belt and a purple belt, you want to take the advice of the black belt. He's been around the block a little,
right.
A couple more times than me, but also I'm going to help anyone I can.
Right. And there's something to be said for being able to teach through the struggle. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So like for some, that's what makes so many of these things, like, I just roll my eyes when people are like, oh, he's self-made. It's like, no, his mom worked for like some massive corporation and was able to like get him in front of all of these people, and like he had all the seed money, and that's how we got Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like that's not to diminish his work or his brilliance, but it didn't just come from, and I feel like with the work ethic I have, if I had had all this seed money behind me, like who knows what I could have taken on. So there's something for that. But also, if it's just easy for you, it's harder to teach it, right? Like I struggle with teaching like high level math, not because I can't do it, because I can. Like I did trig, but it was never hard for me, so I never had to sit there and try to figure it out. But English is my second language. So I can very much go, oh, you don't understand this. Let me explain English to you. You know what I mean? Because excuse me, I didn't speak English until I was 11. Mm-hmm. So, which is funny because like my German is gone, but it's just gone. I taught myself English, no lie. So when I was in the 4th grade, I read War and Peace. So I taught myself English by reading a dead Russian.
Showing off.
I did.
Let's get the blonde in here and talk about War and Peace.
I feel like dumbed down in my old age, but that's what I did. So did I understand it? No, but it had all the words. And so if I encountered a word that I didn't know, I'm like, oh, I went from Tolstoy to to the dictionary. So so like for me, because I had to go through that process of learning a language as I went, because we moved from Germany to like this tiny town in South Texas where they're not exactly welcoming to anybody who doesn't. So
Imagine
nobody,
that.
No, yeah, I know.
In
right?
Texas.
Well, in this country, but yeah, it's especially bad in South Texas. So like they didn't know what to do with me, because I wasn't dumb, and so they didn't know what to do with me. So yeah, so that's kind of how I maneuvered my way through. But like math, I have the hardest time explaining even simple math concepts because I never had to really figure them out.
Mm.
You know, acting did not come easily for me. Like I was just never the best. I was always like second. Like I was always the runner up, right? I'm always second choice. I was always the one they called when like the one they really wanted had to bail. Like I was the queen of, oh shit, the show opens next week. Who are we gonna get? Oh, Sammy can do it. You know, I was the queen of that. So so that I feel like is something I can't explain. Like I can explain acting, but like simple concepts I can't explain. So I think being somebody who, 10 years and you've had your struggles with it, I feel like as an example, I feel like that's good. You know, I feel like if it's someone's just, it's easy for them and they don't ever have to struggle, it's not an adequate representation of what it is for most people.
Yeah, you have to struggle. Nothing, you know, if it was easy, everyone would have it.
Right.
But yeah, you have to, in order to really appreciate it, you gotta struggle. You have to go with it. You can't let it break you.
Right.
But that's how we, find out how strong we are.
Right.
And what we can overcome.
Right.
You got to embrace the struggle.
And there is something so badass about I had this goal and no one thought I could achieve this goal. And ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like even if it doesn't do what we hoped, the fact that like, oh, you didn't think I could write a book? Show you. Oh, you don't think I can make a purple belt? Show you. There's something about that. And that's and I think actually that is what got me in a little bit of trouble with the stores because I was a poor kid. Poor kids don't own stores, and they certainly don't own 3 of them. Mm. Now I was tanking financially, but like I was, I had at one point for almost a year, I had 3 locations of my little soap store that could.
In very prominent spots.
Prominent spots.
When you got the Shady Side location, I'm like, girl,
I thought for sure that
I gotta get closer to Samantha.
I thought for sure that was the beginning of the end. Was the Shady Side store? Like I thought for sure that was going to be it. But again, like if it had gone the way it was supposed to go, right? If it had done what it was supposed to do, then what would I be doing? I would just be chilling soap and not doing
what you love.
Not doing what I love.
Yeah. I don't know how you do the acting that you do when you had those 3 stores.
Yeah.
Because I always see you like Samantha's doing this or she's flying here to do this theater play or and I'm like, where does she get the time? I'm like, cause she's, as far as I know, she's, the chief soap maker over there. So if she's busy doing other things, how in the hell is the soap?
Because I would take it with me. Like I couldn't take the making with me, but like if I had to go out of town to do a show, I would take my work with me. So when I wasn't in rehearsal or on stage, I was working. So like those like it was a working vacation, but like I was in the mountains in North Carolina. It's gorgeous. Beach Mountain is gorgeous, and I didn't get to enjoy any of it because literally I'd end rehearsal and I would go and I would just sit and I would do all of the boring admin-y stuff that I didn't like doing.
Yeah.
But it had to get done. Mm-hmm. And, the buck stopped somewhere and it stopped here. And so what I would usually do is I would do ferocious making, spurt, like right before leaving. I would spend probably 2-3 weeks doing nothing but making and getting several hundred pounds done. And then praying that they didn't run out while I was gone. Mm. So or sometimes I would have to come home and do things. Bruce can make a batch. So like in a pinch, Bruce can make a batch.
Don't leave it up to the man.
There's a couple that he has to make because I'm allergic to cedar.
Ooh.
We discovered. We discovered the bad way. So there's certain things he has to make because I can't. So like in a pinch he could, but I could do 500 pounds in a day. He could maybe do 70, which is like, but also he wasn't doing it. No. He wasn't doing it as often as I was. So the fact that he could do that is impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, but also like the making wasn't his thing. The selling of it was his thing. So we'll see. And yet, like, honestly, like right now where I am, it depends on the minute. Sometimes I'm like, I think I can make I think I can make the online work because the Tory, which is what we call the factory, the Tory is exactly what I wanted. It has a loading dock. It has like freight elevators. I have access to pallet jacks. Like the space is big enough. It's made for it. I don't have to worry about it being too heavy for the building. I have my little vent system. Like we put in a sink. Like it's exactly like it has the amount of space. It's exactly what I needed.
Good.
So like I hate to waste that. Mm-hmm. And I just took this like really expensive marketing class, which was so much fun, but I didn't get to really implement any of that. So part of me is like, I want to keep it around just long enough so I could do that. I just want to like make all that work. And then some days I'm like, I don't want to do it at all. So yeah, well, I mean, we'll see if I can manage to stay at part-time.
Yeah. I think right now, I don't know. I follow some of the witchy and the moons and the different things like that. Right now is a very weird time. I don't know if it's an August full moon or Leo season. I don't freaking know. But it seems like a lot of people are going through a lot of different changes.
Yeah.
That it's taken us out of our comfort zone. Yeah. And really, really challenging us. Yeah. So, I mean, we're Capricorn, so we always come through one way or another.
We figure it out. We'll work our way through it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a wall. Let me just push it down.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm the queen of like scaling walls. Give me a sledgehammer. I'll tear this fucker down. That makes more sense than trying to climb over it. Yeah, climbing over it's work. Tearing it down, you at least vent some stress while you're doing it.
Yes, exactly. We're multitaskers.
Yeah. That's very true. Okay, so you had this list of goals. Do you feel like you achieved everything either with the jiu-jitsu? I know that you got sort of side-railed with the jiu-jitsu or the book, or are there any dreams that you're still like, okay, you're still there, I'm still gunning for you? Do you have anything that...
Absolutely. I don't think that, we're greedy by nature. So once you accomplish a goal, there's another one after it, another one after that, another one after that. So no, it will never be done. I'm not going to stop until I get my black belt and, show as many women make them as comfortable as they can with their jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to stop there. That's ongoing. My book, I made one book. Okay. Well, I accomplished that goal.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, well, a sequel, people are asking for a sequel. And I owe it to the people that came out and cheerleaded for me and bought my book. I'm like, they want it. They like it. Can I do a sequel? Can I do this again? Yeah. So that's another little goal, like to try to do that. Yeah. Acting. You're always, always trying to become a better actor. And even though, with acting, I'm about acting. I love acting. Like, don't get me wrong. I love getting a great script and a great character and building a character and, and thinking about everything about that character and being able to like show that on a screen. But also I'm realistic in the fact that like Pittsburgh, okay, we have like some stuff here. I mean, I believe that I'm, having sex with the best director and writer. That's just the Capricorn in me. I just go for the gold there. But I mean, but then also you have friends. You want to help your friends out with their shitty little scripts. I'm kidding.
No, she's not. We love you, but no, she's not.
But like, I know
But you can't get to a good script, and you can't make a good script until you have to make the crap script and go, oh. Yeah. Okay, and then the next one you improve that.
Yeah, but also
that's the hope. That's the hope.
Yeah, but also Pittsburgh there's limited opportunities here. If you want the big opportunities, you got to go to New York. You got to go to LA. You got to go to Georgia, like these big, big meccas of actors. But then when you do that, you're a small fish in a big pond.
Right.
And that's why some of those, small fish in a big pond come to Pittsburgh. So they could be the big fish in the little pond. But that's a whole other, a story.
I would much rather be a small fish in a big pond.
Well, yeah. I would know. You get the perks.
I would rather be a medium-sized fish in a big pond. like it's just slightly bigger. But doesn't have to be huge. Just like
well, I think you are. And you get the perks of that because, you have such a large body of work, and it's like, okay, if we need Samantha for something, Samantha can act, but can we get Samantha? If you ain't gonna do it for free anymore,
I ain't doing it for free anymore.
But April might do it for free because that bitch needs something to do. That
is the advantage of doing all the things. Is I don't need it just to have something to do.
Please pay me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm too broke. And I think part of the problem is also people have this idea oh, you have a store, you must have money. It's I haven't paid myself since October.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fib. Because we had a bunch of cash come through with this last sale, and I have some credit card debt that I accrued because of the store. So I took that cash and I paid my personal credit cards with it because that's where the debt came from. So kind of a lie. Kind of. It's still paid store debt, but it just paid store debt that was in my name.
Samantha does pay her taxes for anyone
I pay my taxes, and I pay my employees. I mean, I pay my employees, and
do not come after Samantha.
No, I mean, I do have some heavy debts that are still sort of sitting on my head, and
who doesn't?
What was hard about it was because people believed in me and people supported me. I have some personal loans from folks, and I had some money that was supposed to be coming in to pay some folks, and it still hasn't come in. And it was supposed to be in a year ago. And I'm like, where's the $7,000 so I can pay these people back? So that's been a little bit of a challenge. And by saying I took a little bit of the cash, we're talking $500 and threw it on that credit card. So it didn't.
You have to take care of yourself. We never do it, but sometimes you got to take a step back. We as women, we as Capricorns, whatever you want to freaking call it, take a step back.
Take a step back.
We're always taking care of everyone else. We're always worried about everyone else.
Yeah.
We never take care of ourselves.
Right.
Take a step back. Take care of your shit. Take a nap.
And
regroup.
I'm taking tomorrow off.
Oh,
taking the kids to the wave pool. Yeah, I'm taking the whole day off, and I'm taking the whole day off to not go do a work thing. I'm taking the whole day off to take the kids to the wave pool.
Oh, nice. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Don't take your laptop with you. No work. Enjoy the sun.
Might take my knitting.
Oh, there you go.
I haven't knit in a while. Awesome. So, April, thank you so much for being my first guest.
Yeah.
Again, this is amazing. So if you guys, any of you, want to talk about following a dream, chasing dreams, whatever that looks like, dreams come in a variety of different shapes and sizes, and you don't have to necessarily accomplish it. The whole idea is that you go for it. Because there's this great quote. I have a little thingy up at my house. It says, "If you shoot for the moon and miss, you're still in the stars."
Absolutely,
which I love.
The only people that don't are the people that don't get off the couch.
Yeah,
just do something. Make
little
goals, and you're not a loser if you try your best and go for it. You're doing something. You're better. You're better than the person on the couch being the troll, telling everyone that they're doing it wrong. Meanwhile, what are they doing? They're doing nothing. Go and do something. Find a goal.
They're not in the arena, so they don't have to say anything.
They're not in the arena. Yeah,
exactly. So, thank you so much. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time.